Iconic and legendary daytime talk show host Jerry Springer has passed away at age 79. We have an update in regards to Jamie Foxx and why they're saying that he is, quote, lucky to be alive. And Don Lemon is about to bounce back in a big way. What is Don Lemon planning to do after being fired from CNN after working with them for 17 years? We're going to tell you. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So we don't do this often enough, but we're going to give you a mashup of some stories that I've been wanting to cover, especially because some of these stories literally were breaking this morning and yesterday. So first off, we have to talk about Jerry Springer. I don't consider myself a Jerry Springer, the show, fan. I have, growing up, watched the show, but it was not my particular taste of show. But the show lasted for almost 30 years. And I always say this, even with YouTube content creators or content creators on any platform, there's always someone for everyone, okay? So Jerry Springer, and although he had a messy show, he himself didn't seem as messy. Anyone notice that? Like, only he could do that. Usually, if you have a messy show, the host always seems a little messy too. Yes, he had his messy moments, but he always was just so put together. He had a life in politics. He did this daytime talk show for so long. So I was shocked by this news, and this is coming after we were just talking about Harry Belafonte passing away. Well, TMZ's reporting this. They said Jerry Springer was one of the most influential and controversial figures in TV history. They said Jerry hosted the smash hit syndicated talk show, The Jerry Springer Show, for 27 years, and it was never a boring moment on the ruckus and wild show, which was known for its outrageous guests who usually got into crazy fights as the audience cheered, "Jerry, Jerry." So a family spokesperson confirmed that Jerry was battling a, quote, brief illness. According to TMZ sources, they say that it was actually pancreatic cancer and that he was diagnosed with a few months ago. And this week, he took a turn for the worse. The spokesman says that Jerry died Thursday morning peacefully at his home in the Chicago area. As I said to you before, Jerry Springer, you cannot talk about daytime talk without talking about a Jerry Springer. And for his show to exist and last for as long as it did is unheard of, especially in daytime talk. And when I look at the daytime talk world now, there's nothing like Jerry Springer on there. And some of you might be saying, thank God. But no, there's a time and there's a place. Before there was the Zeus Network, there was Jerry Springer. Regardless, Jerry went on to do many other things after the Jerry Springer Show, including he had his own judge show. He was still doing daytime talk shows. I believe, didn't he just do Bethany Frankel's podcast that he did? And yes, I think it was Bethany Frankel's podcast where he watched an episode of The Real Housewives, and because he never watched any ever before, and he had the conversation with Bethany on the podcast. So go listen to that if you haven't listened to it. He was just an insightful man and funny, naturally very funny. Rest in peace, Jerry. Speaking of health and being grateful for your health, Jamie Foxx, as you know, we haven't had a lot of information, but more information is coming out in regards to what led to Jamie Foxx and his hospitalization. As you know, when we first heard about this, we know nothing. We only know that he had a medical incident and he was in the middle of filming this new movie. Well, now Radar Online is saying that Jamie Foxx is, quote, lucky to be alive. Sidebar, you know who else is lucky to be alive? Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton also spoke about this week that she almost could have died too. But you know, one of the key things that people didn't talk about in regards to this or paying attention to and what Toni said, she says that her routine lab work that she was supposed to get, she wasn't getting. She was keeping up on some of the other things when it comes to her lupus, but she was not keeping up on her lab work, which would have indicated that there was a blockage in her heart. Toni, I just love Toni Braxton. Toni, please take care of yourself. Everyone, please take care of yourself. I keep telling you all this. Money, success, love, none of that's worth it if you do not have your health. Why am I yelling? Sorry. So Radar Online is reporting this in regards to Jamie Foxx and why he's, quote, lucky to be alive, and word on the street that Jamie is awake and speaking. So they said Jamie was seconds away from catastrophe after he suffered a terrifying medical crisis. They said docs worked feverishly to revive the 55-year-old actor who was rushed to the hospital, Atlanta hospital, on April 11th after falling deathly ill while shooting the troubled film Back in Action with Cameron Diaz and Glenn Close. They continued, they said Jamie suffered a serious medical episode and needed immediate attention. It was touch and go for days with him. So this is part of the reason why we were like, we are not hearing anything. What happened? What was this medical incident? They said that it was touch and go for days with him, and he had to be revived. He is very lucky to be alive. Sources said the desperate emergency room physicians likely saved his life. He's very lucky he got the treatment he did. Shout out to all of our healthcare workers. Really, honestly. Jamie's horrific episode was made public by daughter Corinne, as you know, who's 29, who wrote on social media, luckily due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. And sidebar, look, I know I hate keeping taking sidebars, but it's important to talk about. This is why we got to do better when it comes to insurance. There are so many people that are not going to the doctor, that are not going for lab work because they can't afford it because of their insurance. So insiders said that the gritty situation, which has left him hospitalized for more than a week, was far more devastating than the family let on. Okay? They don't need to let us know. They say that Jamie suffers from high blood pressure, which doctors say cause clots in the brain leading to a stroke. Doctors believe that this was a long time coming, and really, if they hadn't acted fast, Jamie might well have been a goner. So they say one insider insisted that Jamie's brush with death actually may have saved his life because stress on the set of his new film was likely a major factor in his collapse. The collateral damage star reportedly suffered, quote, an absolute meltdown during production in England, going ballistic on several members of the crew and leading to the firing of 2 directors, okay, and his own personal driver. Drama on the set reportedly ran so high the tense atmosphere it led Cameron Diaz to rethink her celebrated return to acting after a 9-year absence. They continued, said Jamie has absolutely been troubled throughout the shoot, an insider said. He wasn't fun to be around, especially for Cameron. But now there seems to have been a good reason for it. Radar Online reminds us that over the weekend, sources said that Jamie Foxx is, quote, awake and alert, but still recovering in the hospital under a doctor's care. I send nothing but love and prayers to Jamie Foxx and a speedy recovery. Hopefully he's able to get back to being 100%. And of course, really focusing on his health right now more than anything else. Moving on. Speaking of moving on. As you know, we reported earlier this week in regards to Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson being fired from their big paying jobs. One, Don Lemon at CNN and Tucker Carlson at Fox News. Well, Don Lemon is not staying in the house. Homeboy was at the, Time 100 gala and is talking about what he plans to do next. I appreciate just the quickness with this. First of all, we reported to you yesterday that Don Lemon is owed, according to his contract that he signed in September, $25 million, and he's enlisted his good friend and former colleague, Chris Cuomo's attorney, who is in the middle of arbitration and is seeking $125 million for his own contract situation and what he's accusing CNN of defaming him on his way out. Whew, that was a mouthful.
That's what he said.
So Don Lemon is speaking out and giving us an update in regards to what he plans to do next. So our friends over at Newsweek write this. They said, this is what Don said at the Time 100 gala.
I think that my statement speaks for itself. Yeah, it was a surprise, but life goes on. You know, that's behind me, and we'll see what happens in the future. But
You have a game plan for what's next?
I'm going to spend my summer on the beach and on the boat and with my family and just chill out, and then I'll see what happens next. But I am fortunate enough to be in a position where I can do that, where I have time. I don't have to rush to another job. Even if I want another job, I do. I want to work again, but I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I don't have to worry about those things.
You seem excited for a new chapter.
I am excited for a new chapter because I think, life is short, and you have to, whatever life hands you, you have to bob and weave and do it. I didn't think I would be at work one evening, and I'd get a phone call that my sister had died. But I had to deal with that. I didn't think that, my dad would die young of diabetes. I had to deal with that. So there are lots of things that come your way that are unexpected, but I'm a survivor. I come from strong, sturdy stock in Louisiana, and a lot of people who are rooting for me and who love me.
Is there anything you would have done differently looking back?
No, I lived my life with no regrets. And whatever I did, and I own. And so, no, I don't look back, and I don't want to change things in the past.
Remember, there were some shady moments. Don released a statement saying that after 17 years that I've given to CNN, you would think they would have told me, management would have reached out to me directly to let me know that I was being let go. Then CNN clapped back and said Don's statement from this morning was inaccurate. So Don, in an interview with Tommy Daddario, says this. He says, "Life goes on. That's behind me, and we'll see what happens in the future." He says, "I live my life with no regrets, and whatever I did, and I owned." Remember, right before he was fired, there were the incident where he was saying that women after 50 are not in their prime. Then a new Variety expose detailed some of his alleged problematic behavior over the years, especially when it comes to his colleagues, female colleagues specifically. So when asked by Daddario if he would do anything differently, Don responded. He says, "I live my life with no regrets, and whatever I did, and I owned." He says, "I don't look back, and I don't want to change things in the past. Onward." All right? So he went on to reveal that his plans for the immediate future involve relaxation and family time, although he does have a desire to eventually return to work. All right. He says, "I'm going to spend my summer on the beach and on the boat and with my family." He says, "Just chill out, and then I'll see what happens next. But I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I can do that. I have time. I don't have to rush to another job, even if I want another job. I do. I want to work again. But I am lucky enough to be in a position where I don't have to worry about those things." Well, Don, I have a job for you. No. And it's not the job that Rick Ross was offering him at the Wingstop. The disrespect. No. I'm surprised that Don didn't do this earlier. Don Lemon should get his own daytime talk show. Right? Don't you think? All of these other people that are on daytime, and no shade to the people that are on daytime, but daytime talk is not what it used to be. But we do know that Don Lemon, smart, actually is a journalist. Hey, Portia. But also is messy. And maybe this would be the arena that he can go and have a good time. It'll be his own show. He doesn't have to work for a big news network. I could see him, well, first of all, Don is going to try and figure out the whole situation because although he's owed $25 million on his contract, I think he's going to be trying to get more, as you should. This is business. But I think his next thing, give him a daytime talk show. I probably would watch that. Wouldn't you? And I think I would probably watch it more because a lot of you enjoy Don Lemon on New Year's Eve because he's not doing hard news. He's actually having a good time. But with a daytime talk show, when it's time to do hard news or have difficult conversations, he'll be able to do it. I don't know. I'm surprised we haven't done this already. Oh, well, he was making good money over at CNN. But wouldn't you watch the Don Lemon show? Or just Don? Or just Lemon? Welcome to the Lemon Show? I don't know. Look at me producing things for people. I would like to see it. I'd give it a try. I mean, honestly, the people that are on daytime right now, there's a handful that I enjoy. But even that handful, I don't watch on the regular. What about you? Who are you watching on daytime besides me? Guys, let's continue this conversation. I want to know your thoughts on the Jerry Springer. What was your favorite Jerry Springer show in memory? The update on Jamie Foxx and Do you agree with me about Don Lemon? Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse.